When a person can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure. Viktor Frankl's words cut through the surface like a cold blade. They expose a truth we all avoid, the emptiness lurking beneath the facade of our daily lives. You're not lazy, you're disconnected. Waking up every morning with a weight on your chest, a silent creeping void that no amount of distractions can fill. You reach for your phone, scroll endlessly, binge watch or dive into fleeting pleasures that leave you hollow when the screen goes dark. You tell yourself you're just tired, unmotivated, or maybe just lazy. But what you're really doing is running away from the question no one wants to face. What is the point of all this? It's easier to numb than to feel, easier to distract than to confront the silence inside. You might feel restless, stuck in cycles of starting and stopping, craving comfort yet sinking deeper into dissatisfaction. You blame yourself for the lack of discipline, for the broken promises you make to yourself. But Frankl, a man who endured unimaginable suffering, understood that without meaning, the human spirit withers. Meaning isn't some vague concept reserved for poets or philosophers. It's the fuel for your will to live, the reason you rise each day, the anchor in your chaos. Without it, everything becomes pointless. Even the simplest tasks feel like impossible mountains because your inner compass is shattered. The world around you is loud, screaming for your attention, drowning out the voice that asks the real questions. So you reach for pleasure, quick, cheap, temporary. It's a survival tactic disguised as laziness. But every distraction, every moment of numbness only widens the chasm between you and what matters most. You are not broken, you are lost. And that loss, that disconnection, is not the end. It's a doorway. A brutal, painful doorway, but a doorway nonetheless. Meaning is buried deep beneath years of neglect, beneath fear and avoidance. It's waiting for you to find it, to stare into the darkness long enough to see the faintest glimmer. So stop calling yourself lazy. Stop apologizing for your lack of focus or energy. This isn't weakness. It's a symptom, a call to awaken, to connect, to find your why. Because without that why, the pleasure is only poison, and the void will keep swallowing you whole. You've been told time and again that motivation is all about discipline, that if you just push harder, if you just try more, you'll find the energy to move forward. But what if the problem isn't discipline? What if the real enemy is something deeper, something that no pep talk or productivity hack can fix? The truth is, you're not lazy, you're disconnected from meaning. And that disconnection feels like a heavy fog that dulls every part of your life. You drag yourself through routines that once had purpose but now feel mechanical, like you're living someone else's script. Your goals feel hollow, your ambitions distant. You try to find bursts of joy in the little things, TV shows, social media, snacks, but they're fleeting. Nothing sticks, nothing fills the void. It's like running on empty, but not physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Your brain knows what you should do, but your heart can't find a reason to care. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived concentration camps, observed that humans are wired for meaning. Without it, even survival loses its edge. People can endure incredible suffering if they have a reason to endure it. But when that reason vanishes, despair takes hold. This disconnection from meaning can feel like an invisible prison. The walls aren't made of bricks. They're built from apathy, confusion, and silence. You might be trying to force yourself to care, to do more, but that only deepens the exhaustion. You're caught in a vicious loop. The harder you push, the more disconnected you feel. And the more disconnected you feel, the less you want to try. This is not a failure of character. It's a symptom of something missing, a fundamental emptiness. The modern world promises endless pleasure and distraction as a cure, but these are false salves. They mask the ache but don't heal it. What you need isn't more distraction or discipline. You need a reconnection. A way to rediscover what makes life worth living for you. Not for your parents, your boss, or society, but for you. The path forward is painful and slow. It requires you to stop numbing out and start facing the silence inside, to ask the hard questions and sit with uncomfortable answers. But this is where true freedom begins. Because when you find your why, you don't just survive, you thrive. To understand why disconnection from meaning feels so devastating, we need to look back at how our modern world evolved, how the very fabric of our existence was reshaped by forces beyond our control. In the past, life was embedded with rituals, stories, and a sense of place. People found meaning in the cycles of nature, in the bonds of family, tribe, and community. Their roles were clear, their purpose visible. Life was harsh and uncertain, yes, but it was grounded in shared meaning. Then came the explosion of modernity. The Industrial Revolution, the rise of capitalism, the break from tradition. Suddenly meaning became fragmented. You were no longer part of a collective story, but an isolated individual tasked with creating your own purpose in a world that often felt cold, mechanized, and indifferent. With this shift came a crisis. The philosopher Søren Kierkegaard warned of the sickness unto death, a despair born from losing one's connection to meaning and self. Existentialist thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre later described this as nausea, the overwhelming awareness of freedom without guidance, the terrifying responsibility to define yourself in an indifferent universe. This crisis isn't abstract, it's personal. The modern human is often left untethered, forced to navigate a maze of possibilities with no map. The promises of choice and freedom become burdens when you don't know what to choose or who to be. Viktor Frankl, who survived the horrors of Nazi concentration camps, saw this loss of meaning as a root cause of suffering. He discovered that those who could find a why, a reason to endure, survived not because of physical strength, but because of purpose. Meaning was their lifeline. But today, meaning is harder to grasp. The distractions of modern life, endless entertainment, social media noise, consumer culture, numb us from the void instead of confronting it. You are living in this crisis of meaning. The world offers distractions masquerading as answers, and you feel the weight of that emptiness. Yet history also teaches us something crucial. Meaning can be reclaimed. It is not lost forever. It must be forged anew, through struggle, reflection, and courage. This historical lens reveals that your disconnection isn't a personal failing. It is a symptom of a larger collective struggle to find purpose in a fragmented world. What does it mean to be disconnected from meaning? To live without a why? Philosophy has long grappled with this question, and its answer is both haunting and illuminating. Friedrich Nietzsche, whose words you've already encountered, warned of the abyss that opens when meaning collapses. He spoke of the death of God, a metaphor for the collapse of absolute values and shared purpose. Without that anchor, we face a void that can swallow us whole. Jean-Paul Sartre pushed further into this darkness, asserting that we are condemned to be free. Condemned because with no divine blueprint, no cosmic plan, we are left utterly alone to craft meaning in a universe that offers none. This freedom is a burden so heavy it often crushes the human spirit. Viktor Frankl offered a lifeline through his existential psychotherapy, logotherapy. His radical idea was that meaning isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you create even, and especially, in suffering. This creation of meaning is not easy. It demands confrontation with the abyss, the raw, painful truth of your existence without illusions. Disconnection from meaning is more than boredom or distraction. It is an existential wound. It fractures your relationship with yourself and the world. It twists your perception until nothing feels real, nothing feels worth it. But philosophy also reveals a path through the darkness, the recognition that meaning is a choice. It is an act of defiance against the void. When you claim your why, you resist despair, you reclaim your freedom, you turn your suffering into strength. This framing is crucial because it strips away the self-blame, the shame. It tells you that your disconnection is not laziness or weakness, but a fundamental human crisis, one that demands courage and creativity. And this courage is the spark that ignites transformation. Your task is to embrace the responsibility of freedom, to step into the terrifying space where you must forge your own meaning. You are not a passive victim of your emptiness. You are the creator of your why. This philosophical perspective does not offer easy answers. It offers something harder, a call to face your darkness, to wrestle with your void, and to emerge with a reason to live that no distraction can erase. Look around you. The modern world is built on endless motion, but often leads to profound stagnation. People move faster than ever, yet many are paralyzed by a void they can't name. Social media scrolls like a hypnotic ritual, a feast of distraction where everyone seeks connection, but ends up feeling more isolated. Notifications become lifelines, likes become currency, and the constant buzz dulls the ache of disconnection from meaning. You see it in the hollow smiles, the burnout, the growing epidemic of anxiety and depression. People chasing pleasures that never last. Parties, binge-watching, shopping sprees, only to crash into emptiness when the high fades. This is a symptom of a deeper malaise, a collective alienation from purpose. The faster the world moves, the more people feel untethered, floating in a sea of choices without direction. The paradox is brutal. The promise of freedom leads to a prison of indecision and numbness. You are not alone in feeling this way. It's a widespread crisis, a silent epidemic. Yet society insists that this is normal, that you just need to find your passion, get motivated, or try harder. But these platitudes are hollow when your mind is starving for meaning. The void doesn't respond to slogans or surface fixes, it demands a reckoning. In this modern landscape, being lazy is just a label slapped on deep exhaustion, a fatigue born from trying to fill a void with meaningless motion. Your disconnection from meaning is not a flaw, it's a signal. It's a scream from your soul begging for something real, something profound. Until you listen, you'll keep wandering through this fog. But here's the truth few want to say. The path out of this paralysis is not in doing more, it's in doing differently. In slowing down long enough to confront your emptiness, to feel the discomfort, and to search for what truly matters beneath the noise. This crisis in the modern age is your battleground. The fight to reconnect with meaning is the most important war you'll ever wage. It's time to face a brutal truth. Your feelings of laziness, apathy, or disconnection are not failures of willpower. They are the symptoms of a soul starved for meaning. You've been trained to push through, to grit your teeth, to hustle harder. But what if the problem isn't your effort, but the absence of a why? Imagine trying to drive a car without fuel. No matter how hard you press the gas pedal, the engine sputters and dies. You are that car, burning energy in endless circles, but running on an empty tank. You may hate feeling this way. You may have hidden it from others and even from yourself, but denial is a lie that deepens the void. The first step out is acknowledging where you really are, not where you want to be, not where you think you should be, but here, in this disconnection. This realization can feel like a collapse. It shakes your foundation, but it is also the moment when your transformation begins. Because only in the dark can you see the stars. You are not broken, you are disconnected. This distinction is everything. Being broken implies damage beyond repair. Being disconnected means there is a link waiting to be restored. You can find your way back to meaning, but it will require brutal honesty. You must look beneath the distractions and excuses. You must ask yourself the hard questions. What am I really avoiding? What fears am I hiding behind my apathy? What parts of myself have I abandoned? This is not a journey for the faint of heart. It demands courage to sit with discomfort, to face the void without flinching. But within that void lies possibility, the chance to reclaim your power and purpose. So stop beating yourself up for laziness. Stop masking your disconnection with guilt or shame. Instead, recognize the hunger beneath it all. You are craving meaning. And the moment you accept this, you can start feeding it. This call to realization is your awakening, your invitation to stop running from yourself. It's the beginning of the most important work you'll ever do. The deepest truth you must face is this: you are not lazy, you are lost. Lost in a fog of disconnection from meaning so dense that it paralyzes your will and numbs your soul. But here's the revelation no one tells you. This loss is not permanent. Meaning is not a treasure hidden in some distant land, nor is it a prize to be won by sheer effort. Meaning is a presence, a pulse, a rhythm you must learn to listen to again within yourself. It is the quiet voice beneath the noise of distraction, the soft ember glowing beneath the ashes of your exhaustion. When you learn to listen, you realize something terrifying and liberating. Meaning doesn't come to you. You come to meaning. This shift changes everything. It means the power to create purpose lies not in external achievements or validation from others, but within your own hands. You are the architect of your why. This is not easy to accept because it demands full responsibility. No more blaming the world, your circumstances, or your past. But it also means freedom. You can rebuild your life from the ground up. Not by forcing yourself to move faster or do more, but by reconnecting deeply to what makes your existence undeniable. This is why the feeling of laziness isn't your enemy. It's a messenger, a signal that your current path is hollow and that something deeper is calling you. When you honor that call, you begin to feel the pulse of meaning once again. It may come through small moments, a powerful conversation, a solitary walk in silence, a creative spark in the dark. These moments accumulate. They weave a new thread through your days, a thread that pulls you out of paralysis, that builds momentum, that reawakens your fire. So don't fight the fog. Don't drown yourself in endless motion to escape it. Instead, learn to sit with it, to listen, to feel, and to trust that beneath the haze, meaning waits, waiting for you to claim it. And when you do, laziness will no longer be your label. It will be your signal of awakening. You've spent so long hating yourself for being lazy, for not living up to impossible standards, for feeling stuck in a loop of numbness and avoidance. But now you know the truth. It's not laziness, it's disconnection. And that changes everything. Because disconnection can be healed. You're not broken beyond repair. You're not weak or worthless. You are a soul starved for meaning in a world drowning in distraction. This realization is your turning point. The moment when you stop fighting yourself and start fighting for yourself. It's terrifying because it means facing the dark, the silence, the void, the uncertainty. But it's necessary. Only by walking through that darkness can you find the spark that lights your way back. This is your call to arms, to stop running on empty, to stop numbing out with temporary fixes, to stop apologizing for your existence and start demanding space to be fully, unapologetically you. The road won't be easy. You will stumble. You will feel lost again. But every step toward meaning is a victory, because with each step you reclaim your power. You rebuild your why, and that why will carry you through every how. Remember Nietzsche's words. He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. You have a why inside you, waiting to be awakened. It's time to stop hiding, to stop shrinking, to stop disconnecting. This is your moment to break free, to reconnect, to live with purpose that no distraction can drown out, to become unstoppable. Because you are not lazy, you are searching. And in your search lies your strength. For years you've been convinced you're lazy, flawed, weak, unable to push yourself forward. But that belief is a lie, a mask hiding something far darker. You are disconnected. Disconnected from meaning, from purpose, from the very thing that makes life bearable and worth fighting for. This disconnection isn't a failure of will. It's a silent, suffocating void that numbs your motivation and drains your soul. This emptiness you feel is not a dead end, but a threshold, a terrifying, necessary place where the old you dies, so something new can be born. It demands you stop blaming yourself. Stop trying to force movement through sheer grit alone and instead face the dark silence you've been running from. That silence is your soul's last beacon, flickering beneath the noise of distractions and temporary pleasures that have only masked the void. You've tried to escape the emptiness with numbing habits and fleeting joys, but they never last. They are illusions that steal your energy while convincing you you're lazy for not doing more. But now, standing at the edge, you have a choice. Stay trapped in this loop or step into the uncomfortable truth that meaning must be reclaimed, not found, not given, but built piece by piece from within. This is no easy journey. You must confront every lie you've believed about yourself, every apology you've made just to exist. You'll have to sit with discomfort, with uncertainty, and listen to the whisper inside you that's been quiet for far too long. That whisper is your true self, waiting to be heard. When you finally stop shrinking, stop apologizing, and reclaim your space, you'll ignite a fire. A why so strong it can carry you through any how. This newfound purpose will be your anchor, your rebellion against the darkness that tried to erase you. You are not lazy, you are disconnected. But disconnection is not a prison, it's a doorway. And beyond that door is your awakening. You've been silent for far too long. You've shrunk yourself down to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. You've whispered apologies for simply being, apologized for taking up air, for your needs, your feelings, your desires. You were told to be small, to be quiet, to disappear. And you listened because it seemed safer that way, easier. But this silence, this invisibility, it's not humility, it's a cage. You are not lazy, you are not broken, you are not less than anyone else. What you are is disconnected from your purpose, from your reason for being, from your own soul. And until you confront that disconnection, no pep talk, no motivational quote, no superficial change will shake you free. This moment, right here, right now, is your crossroads. You have a choice. You can continue wandering through the numbing haze of distractions, drowning yourself in pleasures that only mask the emptiness inside. You can cling to avoidance, busy yourself with noise so loud it blocks out the silence. Or you can step into the darkness, the dark silence that scares you the most, and face it head on. Uncertain, trembling, afraid, but fully alive. The first step is the hardest. It's brutal. It demands that you sit with your discomfort, your pain, your hollow spaces. It means letting yourself feel every raw, unsettling truth you've been running from. But here's the cruel paradox that pain is not your enemy. It is the gateway to rebirth. Without it, you remain a ghost, unseen, unheard, barely alive, drifting through life like a shadow. Start small. Speak once without apologizing. Claim a little more space in a conversation. Say what you need to say even if your voice shakes. Do it again and again. Let the fire inside you grow until it roars so loud it can no longer be ignored. Surround yourself with what feeds your soul, not what dulls it. Seek meaning even in the smallest things. A book that stirs something deep inside. A conversation that makes you uncomfortable in the best way. A quiet moment alone where you dare to be honest with yourself. Let these sparks kindle a slow-burning ember inside your chest until it catches fire, your why. And when doubt floods in, and it will, remember this. The world has been trying to silence you since before you knew what silence was. Your quietness was mistaken for weakness, but it was survival. Now survival is no longer enough. Now it is time for resistance. You owe it to yourself to break free from the vicious cycle of self-judgment, to tear down the lies whispered so softly you almost believe them, that you're lazy, broken, unworthy. You are none of those things. You are a fighter, a seeker, a survivor searching for meaning in a world built to distract you from your own truth. Rise. Not because it will be easy, but because it is necessary. Because your true life is waiting on the other side of numbness, on the other side of fear. If this message stirs something inside you, something raw and real, don't let it flicker out in silence. Show yourself the kindness of acknowledgement. Like this video to affirm your courage to face your shadows. Subscribe to join a community that refuses to settle for distractions and half-truths. Share this message with someone who needs to hear that they are not lazy, that they are disconnected but ready to reconnect with their meaning. This is your call. Your life is waiting just beyond the shadows where you hide. Take that first trembling step. Speak your truth. Take up space unapologetically. Because when you stop apologizing for existing, the world has no choice but to listen. And remember, true meaning is not handed to you on a silver platter. It is forged, moment by moment, choice by choice, from the ashes of your disconnection. So start building today.